Hi, good day everyone, it's Jenn here from Clawz. Alright, so a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month or so ago, I did the rose with the alcohol ink, and I was asked for a video, and I just really haven't had the time to get around to doing it, so I thought we'd get this one off today. Alright, so what I've done is, let me grab a few things. Alright, I'm going to work with the let's see, the number 6 crazy ink, which is a dark red. I'm going to work with the number 9, which is a black, and I'm going to work with the number 10, which is a purple. Now I've taken 2 brushes out here, but with this design I'm going to be using mostly this one, but I just wanted to show you my 2 favorite brushes for washing out designs, because basically this is what I'm going to be referring to as actually washing out the design. Now this one is just a, as you can see, it is just a flat triangle brush. Why I like to use these obviously is for that point to get nice fine detail. Now this one, let's see, can we try and lift the camera up a little? I should be able to get it in there. No, it's actually, alright, I'm backing to get this one under the camera, but I'm going to roll it so that you can actually see this brush is not flat at all. It is a round cylinder that comes up into a tapered point. So as I say, not a flat brush. This is the one I am going to be using mostly for this detail and working mostly with that point. Right, so what I have here is I've just taken a pop, I've applied my base coat, I've applied 1 coat of our white gel polish. As a lot of you know, most of our gel polishes do only require 1 coat. And then I've applied a rubber matte top coat. For alcohol ink, I do find it best to work on a matte top coat. Right then, so let's get started. Alright, so I'm starting with my number 6, the Crystal Clawz Crazy Ink, which is the dark red. As you can see, there is a bright red and there is a dark red. Now I'm just randomly placing my colors down, bearing in mind that I'm not going to be marbling these colors up at all. I'm actually simply going to be putting the alcohol inks on the nail. Right, next I'm going to come in with some purple. Don't be shy to go into your last color and overlap your colors. And I'm getting a nice spray here. It should be a nice piece of paper when I'm done. Let me just get it around the back and cover some of that white. Now I'm going to be going over and over and over, and the reason I'm going over and over, I'm going to come in with black, is I'm wanting a nice dark background. The roses do show up nicely on a light background as well, but obviously on a very dark background it's just going to pop. I'm going to take a nail wipe and I am going to just mop up some of that dark color, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos. If your inks are too wet and they start to run into each other, you don't really have a color. You just end up with a muddy, absolutely muddy mess. So I'm just going to add a bit of more red, and I'm just going to keep going until I'm happy with the color tones that I have. And as you can see, I am going for a very dark background here. Now your background, most of this we are going to be washing away as we start to wash in our rose. Add a little more black, and I think maybe one more touch of the red. Alright, so before I start to actually end up blending this, alright, so for those of you that have worked with the crazy inks, for alcohol inks, you know that we normally blend away with a clear blender, but you can actually just blend away with your colors as well. Alright, fabulous. At that point I'm now happy that my background is dark enough And I'm going to start with my rose. Now I'm going to use my my round cylinder, not my flat triangle, and working purely with the very tip of the brush. I'm now going to start to, oops, I can't simply, there we go. I'm now simply going to start to wash out my petals. So I'm going to start with the center of my rose. And I'm going to create that little curl in the center. And I'm now going to build my petals up around that. So the whole process from here is simply taking your blender and washing out that rose. And to get a nice deep wash, we go over and over and over until we're happy with the color of our center. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to be creating sort of like a C shape. I'm going to be basically creating C's going around each other. Let me just take a little more off. Okay, Renal says they're croissants. No, Renal, you can't eat this. And I'm going to come past that one a little. And I'm going to come in with my next petal. I am going to come back in and wash them out a little more, but I just want to get the general form of my rose going. Take that, tuck it around. You'll see when I bring it around, I'm bringing them off to very, very fine points. I am, as I say, going to come back and wash out the center, well, the center petals of these roses again. Just by doing this, first by getting my petals, I'm just getting the size of the rose I want. You would obviously, on a client need, you get your client to move their hands to wherever it's most comfortable for you. Take it up. Bring it. Am I going to fall off again, Renal? And so I'm just going to, as I say, get the form of my rose going. Now, before I get to my outer petals, I am now going to come and wash up on these a little, because this washing up some more is obviously now going to make my my petals a little wider and a little more defined. Don't we all wish our clients were this flexible? Come in and now start to take these outer petals a bit bigger. And so we're just going to keep on until we have the size of our rose that we want. I'm going to turn this over onto the side so I can just get in there nicely. Now I'm just going to add a couple more petals. When you're working with this, you'd obviously, take your time. I need to turn it back that way. You take your time to get your rose. This is the main part of your design, so you do want to get your rose washed out beautifully. in behind that one. I'm going to make that one a little wider and tuck it in behind the other one. Just to keep the separation between my petals. Now I don't want to go much bigger with this. I'm just going to have a look at where I have a few gaps. Maybe one more petal in at the top here. There we go. Now, to me, the rose as it stands here now is a little bland. I am going to now just go in and just refine those petals a little. Now at this point in time, as I say, to me this is a little bland, so I'm now going to come in, add a little detail with the liner brush. But before I carry on with that, if you are now done with your nail, you would obviously top coat it. Now I'm going to add liner gel, but I want to keep my nail matte. So at this point in time, I'm coming in with my rubber matte top coat just to seal in the alcohol ink. And this up, I'm now going to take my white liner gel. I'm going to take a detail liner. I don't know, can you actually see? Alright, so it's a nice fine detail liner that I'm going to use here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to paint perfect lines. I just kind of like the way it adds a little depth and dimension when I just have, as you can see, I'm basically just touching the nail and lifting, touching the nail and lifting. So that and of course I'm not going straight with my lines either, because it just, I don't know, to me it just sort of adds that last little finishing touch that it needs without being too neat and looking like you've actually painted the rose just out of your liner. And I'm going to go in. As you can see, I'm not keeping my lines straight, and where I put down and lift up a little, I'm actually getting different thicknesses in my lines as well, which just adds that little bit of character. And come in with the last one. Let me just see on the side here. Alright, so as you can see, that has already changed the whole look of that rose. I think we could maybe use a little bit more coming in around that line. And then of course, let's just finish it off. We don't want all this blank space, so I'm just going to bring in a couple of messy lines here as well. I'm going to call them messy lines. Just to absolutely finish it off so that you don't have all this blank space. And there we go. Now at this point in time, of course, I'm never happy. Don't laugh at me right now. The center's not defined enough. Okay. And there we go. Now I'm happy. And she says,
Nice.
putting that. Oh, thanks for that, Renelle. Okay, I think I'm happy. Take the brush away again. All right, so there we go. We have created our rose with our alcohol ink. It's very difficult to get it identical, but I think we got pretty close to the original one that I did. Fabulous. For those of you that were waiting for this video, I hope that this has helped you a little. If you do some alcohol ink roses and you are watching this one on Facebook, please pop yours into the comments. We'd love to see your roses. We hope you have a super day. Thank you.